It involved developing the technology. The technology had to be proprietary because there were not, and they still don't exist, off-the-shelf platforms that connect inventory sitting in physical stores in disparate locations in real time with one single checkout and digital platform. It just
so you had to build everything internally.
You have to do it internally. So I already had the software business. So I remember calling Cipriano, our CTO, and saying, let's stop this ERP business, which is boring and it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to build a marketplace for fashion boutiques.
And what did he think?
So this guy's crazy. another one of his crazy ideas, but he loves crazy ideas. Like all great engineers, they love a challenge. So that's it. It took us 1 year, and then coming up with the main question is what makes it a fantastic consumer destination. How many boutiques do I need, and what types of boutiques? So that in aggregate, their curation for the consumer makes sense and makes it from day one, it has to be a fantastic consumer proposition. And we came up with a list of, we had to launch with around 25, which was the number we launched. And we came up with a target list. And I just started jumping on planes and
what did the boutiques say?
Well, it's they didn't really get what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
I think one of the things people still say today is how does that work? You get a boutique from Scandinavia who has a special viewpoint in fashion, point of view in fashion. You have a boutique from Italy, has a completely different point of view in fashion. You get both together. How does that work? That's the beauty of Farfetch. It's actually, we're not a one direction dictating editorial voice. So we're not a magazine. We're actually a community of people with multiple points of view in fashion. And what unites them is that it is a love for fashion, and it's a very original, their own unique take on this industry and their own unique curation. And that's
it's a beautiful idea, because my favorite thing about visiting some of these boutiques is, as you say, they're very personal, right? So like if you meet the person who owns one of those boutiques, they're the ones going to all the trade shows, they're going into the showrooms, they're like curating a buy that fits with their point of view. And what Farfetch does is it brings all those points of view together. But so if these boutiques didn't get it at the beginning, do you remember the first boutique that you managed to sign on and that it really clicked? Like, who was that? Who bought into it?
I cannot remember exactly the first ones, because there were a few conversations happening at the same time. Mm-hmm. I would like to mention Maria Luisa, mm-hmm. Who was a legendary boutique owner and buyer, curator of fashion.
And she definitely had a point of view, right?
Absolutely.
Her stores in Paris were known for the Maria Luisa take. So in a way, she's the perfect example.
Exactly. And she was, and Danielle Pomayou, the husband, was really intrigued by the project. And we actually did a launch event in the Rue de Montabor, in the boutique they had there. And so they were, probably the most famous inaugural founder boutique of Farfetch. But we had other great boutiques, Feathers here in London, for example, Société Anonyme in Florence, and there were a number of them.
And it's really important in fashion who you sign up first and who you can point to, because especially back then when, the whole fashion industry wasn't obsessed with technology and trying to figure it out, it was all about, our industry seems somewhat maybe overly obsessed with who else is involved and who else is. So is that how it gained momentum? You get someone like Maria Luisa and some of these other stores, and then the competition or her peers in other markets start to pay attention.
Definitely. There's a domino effect on having... at the time, especially because people did not understand technology. So the first question is, who else is on the platform? Which obviously is a chicken and egg situation. And I think that was probably the hardest part, because who will join a marketplace that has no customers, no traffic? I mean, that's completely pointless, right? And as a customer, who will visit a website that has no products? So how do you untangle this chicken and egg situation? And it starts by signing the boutiques, signing the sellers on the platform. And I remember in the beginning we even used to create websites for them. Some of them said, "Listen, I'm not interested in this Farfetch thing of yours, but I do need a website." It's okay, fine, we'll do it for you. If you sign on Farfetch, don't worry, we'll be fine, but we'll also create your website. So at the point we had like 50 websites that we were running.
Okay. So there's the technology bit. There's signing up the boutiques. The other bit that I find absolutely kind of mind-boggling is the logistics element. The global logistics. So like, unlike, say, Net-a-Porter or some of these other e-commerce things that exist at the same time, which had 3 warehouses from which they could pull their inventory and deliver, you're literally, you're enabling the customer to check out in one order, but that one order might be sourced from multiple boutiques. The logistics problem for me is like also a big challenge that you had to solve. Like, how did you? It seems so easy now because everyone uses Farfetch, but back then that was a big challenge as well.
It was a huge challenge, and I think it's a huge competitive advantage we have. For me, it was quite clear that it had to be as easy as shopping at the time as shopping at Net-a-Porter, for example. For the customer doesn't care if you're sourcing it from one location or 10. They want it fast, impeccably delivered, great packaging, great return service. So we knew we couldn't let this be done by the sellers, so we had to centralize it. So from day one, we had a single checkout, single fraud control system, single logistics and operations and customer service team, and that was completely integrated in the platform. It's funny because it also helped that we were in Portugal, because there's a lot of international logistics people, because of the factories and all of that are used to custom clearance and UTCs and duty calculations and all of that. So we quickly got some people that were really good at global logistics, and we hired them and we built that logic into the system from day one. So Farfetch is actually a platform with 3 layers. So there's a technology platform, there is a logistics platform, and there is a data platform. And that has been there since day one. And that, I think, is one of the secret sauces, because we were able to leverage existing inventory. So people did not have to take risks. The inventory was already sitting there in the shop floors. That inventory got 2 chances to sell, either offline or online. And then we could still provide a fantastic consumer experience, even having completely disparate stock points. And that was what today people call omni-channel or multi-channel. It was this omni-channel vision from day one.
When I came to visit you once in Portugal, I spoke at the gathering. I don't know how many years ago that was, at your annual gathering for the boutique. You also had like all these photo studios. So can you also explain how that works? Because I think the other thing that I found quite remarkable is actually you decided at some point that you were going to shoot all of the looks and the clothes and the products yourself in a studio. Was it like that from the beginning?
From the beginning, from day one.
Because that's another element that adds a logistical complication. So basically, how does that work? Because the same store, different stores might have the same product. So
the way it works, we have 4 hubs. The main hub is in Portugal still. It can produce up to 4,000 products a day. And the second is in LA in the US. Then we have one in São Paulo, and we have one in Hong Kong. Every single product on the platform is styled and shot and photoshopped by us, by Farfetch internally. But you do have a back office. If you're a boutique or a brand, we now have brands on the platform as well, where you check